Hey, happy Tuesday, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Happy October. Happy Tuesday before Christmas. All right, so let's just get right in. The system of equations given models the number of adult tickets, A, and the child tickets, C, sold, and the revenue in dollars made from ticket sales. How many tickets were sold? And I have a big hint for you on this page. Caution. Unlike pumpkin carving, some questions on this exam will be deceptively simple. So total adults A plus total children C equals 256. So A represents the number of adult tickets and C represents the number of child tickets. Now, 8A plus 5C equals 1,673. What do you think that 8 and the 5 would represent? So yeah, if you said that the 8 represents the amount of dollars that each adult spends on the ticket, yes. So $8 times the amount of adult tickets plus $5 is how much the children's tickets cost, times the amount of children attending equals 1,673. So 8 times the adult tickets plus 5 times the child tickets equals $1,673. A plus C is the total amount of tickets. A plus C is 256, right? In this case. A plus C is 256. So the answer to this is just 256. Like we all want to go and solve for, we want to solve for A and we want to solve for C, right? Like when I first saw this, all I did was skip over what the question was asking, and I solved for A and then I solved for C. I wanted to solve the system of equations, but you don't even have to do that here. You don't have to solve the system of equations. All you have to do is figure out what's given and what's being asked. And what's given is the amount of tickets that were sold. The total amount of tickets that were sold is already right there. So that's one that we didn't even have to really do any math on. So that's why I said in the slide before, caution, some of these questions will be deceptively simple. The average high in temperatures in degrees Fahrenheit for 6 months in 2 cities are shown. So this one's really cool. Molly, she wants to go live in a city that has the least variation in temperature. So she doesn't want to live in a place where she has to change her wardrobe very often, we'll say. She loves to wear shorts and halter tops, this Molly. So complete the sentence to describe where Molly should live. And then I have right here on the right, those are the drop downs. So based on the data, Molly should live in Chicago or Honolulu because it has a lower or higher mean, median, or standard deviation. So I'm going to show you guys how to put this into Desmos. It's going to be really cool. The plus sign is what you click in the top right there, that plus sign. I mean the top left, just kidding. And then you're going to click on that, and you're going to click on the table. Plus sign, table. And then the easiest way that I have found to do this is just to enter all the X values first, and then to enter all of the Y values. So 33, enter 30. So it's asking which city has the least variation in temperature. So the X-axis, in this case, is Chicago. The Y-axis is Honolulu, Hawaii. Most of us are going to go, well, we're going to look at the temperatures and we're going to go, well, obviously there's a higher range in Chicago, right? 77 degrees versus 33 degrees, whereas in Hawaii, 85 degrees in June versus 79 degrees in January. Yeah, definitely go live in Hawaii for sure if you're Molly with the halter tops. But which measure will we use to determine, will we determine mean, median, or standard deviation? What do you think? So mean and median are measures of central tendency, while standard deviation is a measure of how far spread out the data is. So standard deviation just means a number that shows how spread out the data is. So a small standard deviation means close together. And then a larger standard deviation means spread apart. Here, let me show you this tab. So that has the definition there for you. Standard deviation means how spread out the data is. Bottom left here, you will find your keyboard, and functions are to the right, all the way over to the right. Look at all the different statistics functions we have here. We have standard deviation, P, VARP, core, Spearman, quantile, right? So the one that we will choose here is STDEV. So we're going to click STDEV and then X1. So the standard deviation for Chicago is 17.466 degrees. So X1 is Chicago. Y1 is going to be Hawaii. So let me show you how to do Hawaii. So just click enter. Boop. STDEV. Functions. STDEV. And then Y1. So the standard deviation for Hawaii is 2.4 degrees. So based on the data, Molly should live where? So she wants to live in a city that has the least variation, and Hawaii deviates or varies only 2.4 degrees. So yeah, so she's going to live in Hawaii. Yep. She wants to live in Hawaii. So because it has a lower, yep, a lower what? STDEV. Thank you, Jamari. Exactly. Yeah, so she's going to live in Hawaii. Lucky duck. Nice work, guys. That was awesome. You guys rule. Okay, we have one more. All right, so exponential. I just want to kind of front load this one with a little bit of information for y'all. Exponential. So an example of an exponential function would be a house that increases in value by 3% each year. Is exponential because the amount added each year depends on the current value, not just a fixed number. So if a house increases by 3% of $100, let's say you've got a house that cost you $100 because it's 1846. And then the next year it's going to be $103. But then the year after that, it's going to be 3% of 103, not 3% of 100, if that makes sense. So the value keeps growing by a percentage, so it grows faster over time. Now, an example of a function that is not exponential would be a checking account that decreases in value in 1 year. So if we're talking about something over 1 year, we're not talking about something growing faster over time, unless we're talking about monthly compounded interest or something like that, but we're not getting into that right now. So if we're talking about like a checking account that decreases in value in 1 year, it's not exponential because the change happens only once. So think, how often does the change happen? With that being said, choose your response. We're going to do a poll for this one. Which situation could be represented by an exponential function g of t, where t represents time in years? So remember, and you can take a wild guess. So a city's population increases by 300 people each year. So year 1, 300. Year 2, 600. Year 3, 900. Year 4, 1,200, and so on and so on. Cool. Yeah, it's D. It's D because it's D because the house increases in value over time. You guys are so good. You guys rule. Yeah, so it's going to be D. Exactly. A house that increases in value by 3% each year. Nice job. You guys are awesome. Just start that algebra practice test. The test is like 50 questions. It changes every year, but it's around 50 questions. And you have to get like an 84%. So you can, of 50 questions, you can get like 8 wrong. Wait for it.
Won't you dance with me doing the Betty Bet?
Oh,
Yay, the best
oh,
of
my
that.
happy childhood in the Carpathian
Okay, I'm
Mountains.
not gonna make you.
Enjoy this
Thank you so much for humoring me. I love you all, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Toodle.